Hi everybody, it is Nick from Booster here in Cannes as a Marketing Society Cannes correspondent, and I'm on the beach. It's quite nice. I'm here with David.
It's very hot.
It is very hot. Fortunately, we're in the shade. But we're talking about creativity, and what better place to be doing that than in Cannes? David, first of all, please could you introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm David Jones, the founder and CEO of the Brandtech Group, and we're the world's #1 Gen AI marketing company.
Okay, amazing. And could you describe a bit more about what you do at Brandtech?
So 10 years ago, we came here and said, we think you can do all marketing better, faster, and cheaper using technology and AI. And that's what we do. I think 10 years ago, no one understood what that meant. Today, they do. We've now made 10 million ads with our Pencil platform that's been creating AI ads since 2018. We made 10 million ads across 10,000 brands and have been named by OpenAI as one of the few partners to have 10 billion tokens that we've used, which I'm not sure if it's a good or a bad thing.
Hang on.
But we also now make TV commercials. We made a TV commercial for NetApp that ran on the Super Bowl.
Amazing. And what a wonderful way to lead into the question of, what do you believe the key to great creativity is?
So look, I think in this world of AI, brand is more important, talent is more important, and creativity is more important. But if you know what you're doing, AI is a superpower. And I think, personally, I believe we're going to see the greatest creative revolution in history. We've been given the most incredible storytelling tools. And, we're in a world now where if you can imagine it, you can now create and make it. I think what is interesting, and maybe I'll talk a little bit about what the enemy of great creativity is. But I think many people today think the enemy of great creativity is AI. Mm-hmm. It isn't. The enemy of great creativity is defending old-fashioned legacy ways of working. And the greatest creative people I've ever worked with, and I was very lucky in my career to work with people like David Abbott and amazing creative talents, they've always been super curious, super excited about the next technology, super interested in culture, super interested in human behavior, and really open. And I think many of the traditional legacy agency creative people today are doing the complete opposite of that. They've just dismissed AI as it's nonsense and rubbish. And yeah, it can be. There's a ton of AI slop out there. But if you know what you're doing, the content is incredible. And I think it's really interesting that the best creative work in the world today being done using AI is all being done by creators. Yeah. It's not being done by the traditional agency creatives. So I just underscore that point. The enemy of great creativity isn't AI. The enemy of great creativity is people trying to defend old-fashioned legacy ways of working.
Yeah, love that. And so that sort of backs up the thought that it's an instrument, not a tool, and that if you're an artist that can wield an instrument in a way that creates great things, it's not a tool, it's just a hammer to hit a nail with.
No, and I think, obviously people are scared about AI. It's one, oh my God. But everyone wants to try and make it binary. I'm either a brilliant human creative or it's terrible AI slop. And that's totally the wrong way to look at it. I live in America. You turn your television on and watch advertising in the US, most of it isn't very good. Because it'll all look the same. Go look at a reel of banking ads and airline ads. They all look the same. Yeah. So I think there's this kind of false thing that all human creativity by default is amazing. Yeah. And in fact, when I launched the company 10 years ago, I did an interview with Campaign, and I didn't make many friends. I said, 5% of the world are creative geniuses, and we want to work with them, but 95% don't make much that's creative or original, and I'd rather have fast, efficient AI than a grumpy creative with a giant ego. And obviously, that went down well. At least people understand today that you can make content like that. But I think it's like, my analogy is the car. We still walk. We haven't stopped walking, but we can go to so many more places if we get in a car. Yeah. And it's the same thing. If you, as a creative person, want to do pure human creativity, you absolutely can, and there will be a huge ongoing role for that. But you can actually take your 5 ideas and look at what they look like as a piece of film within a couple of days. Yeah. You don't have to wait 9 months having found a director to show it to you. And I think the greatest creative people today, it's not the old world of I have an idea and then there's a 9-month process and finding a director. Like, they make it, and it's amazing.
And so, taking that thought and an idea with creativity, what has that enabled you to create recently? What would be an example of where that has come to the forefront within Brandtech Group? Sure.
So, the NetApp Super Bowl, the other round of Super Bowl Sunday is an example. Yeah. Made end-to-end in 14 days. We did some really interesting work for one of our big packaged goods clients where we created an ad And I think it's this hybrid model. So the talent is real. We paid them usage rights. We paid them session fees, and they got full approval on the content. But we didn't have a shoot. We created it all with AI. An even more progressive example: we invested about 12 months ago, and we'll be announcing it soon, in a company where one of the world's most recognized film directors has created an AI company with one of the top AI talent in the world to make Hollywood movies for $8 million, not $100 million. And I was looking last weekend at some of the work they've produced. It's mind-blowingly good, and that's already. And if we look in 12 months from now, we'll look back on that, and they've cracked character consistency. So one of the problems, if you want to make a Hollywood movie, it's hard. It has been hard with AI models to have character consistency across, 3 hours, and you can now. So when you've got people, like Edward Norton, or top film directors and people like Matthew McConaughey leaning in and saying this is really exciting, and it goes back to that point about what's great creativity. Great creativity, it's being curious, it's leaning into the exciting new technology, it's understanding more about human behavior and culture.
And even though it does potentially create a lot more of it, you're still going to get that top 5% of excellence with the top 5 creatives creating the great work. That's always going to bubble to the top as well, isn't it?
Well, it is, but also I think it's democratizing creativity. I mean, some of our best creators, creative people, they're no longer in New York, Paris, London. Like if you were, a creative person in the Philippines, in a small, part of the world, desperate to make some amazing blockbuster film, it's like that's just not going to happen. Whereas now you actually have the production capabilities to do that, and we do a lot of work with the Door Brothers, a great creator collective. And the reason they're so good, they wanted to make movies but didn't have budget, so they started playing with AI. And today, AI is a much more powerful tool than it was, and they're doing incredible content. So I think, honestly, it's a bit like when the creator economy came along. Everyone, ordinary people go and create content, and now most brands wouldn't be doing very well without influencers and creators.
Yes, indeed. David, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Fascinating talk, and we'll put a link to the work as well.
Sure, I can give you a ton more stuff as well.
Yeah, amazing, fantastic, so people can see what we're talking about. Well, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.